The Dragon Response missions are the latest addition to the endgame content in Guild Wars 2. The missions are fairly easy, but with all the challenges activated, they can be rather difficult to complete. Therefore, I want to give you a few tips to help you complete the challenges of these Dragon Response missions as fast as possible. I'm able to do 3 of these missions in about 30 minutes, so I'm sure you can do it too. It's me, Kyo, and let's head into the video. First, let's have a brief look at the challenges you have to complete. At the start of a private Dragon Response mission, you can find 2 NPCs. At one of the NPCs, you can rent allies to assist you in the second half of a Dragon Response mission. We talk about this NPC later in the video. At the second NPC, you can select your challenges. The first challenge adds a timer to the Dragon Response mission. After you complete the first event where you have to kill enemies, escort allies and repair structures, this timer will start. Depending on the mission, this timer will be between 16 and 22 minutes. This could change in the future. However, this is easily doable if you follow the other tips in the video. I usually have at least 5 minutes left on the clock. The second challenge increases the strength of all non-champion enemies. Their damage and health will increase, so make sure to stick together when you are engaging enemies. The third and the last challenge increases the strength of enemy champions. Usually there is just one champion and this is the final boss. To be eligible for achievements, you have to complete the Dragon Response missions multiple times with all these challenges activated. But like I said before, follow the tips in the video and you can easily do it. The first short tip I have is if you see these orange baubles, make sure to pick them up. They grant you 5 might and thus increase your damage. These baubles will spawn whenever you kill a destroyer enemy. This comes in real handy whenever your support cannot give you enough might or you cannot give yourself enough might. The next great thing about the Dragon Response missions is that you can use mounts. Usually instant content like dungeons, fractals and story instances don't allow you to use mounts, but here you can use mounts. I discussed the usage of mounts in combat in another video. You can check this video out in the info charts. But in short, you can use mounts. Use, for example, the raptor to pull enemies together and get around. This stuns enemies and allows your team to easily damage these enemies. The springer can be used to initiate the final boss. This will do a significant amount of damage to its break bar. After this break bar breaks, the champion will be stunned and you are free to damage without any obstacles. You can also use the sky skill to initiate enemies. If you use your first skill, your sky skill will leave a fire field that will continuously damage enemies. Also, your allies can blast a fire field for might or use it to enhance their attacks. So every time you can, hop on your mount and initiate enemies to have an advantage over your enemies. And this brings me to my next point. As you heard in the last segment, you want to CC your enemies. All champions in the Dragon Response missions have a break bar and have it pop up quite a few times. You want to break this bar as soon as possible. All professions have CC, so everyone should be able to bring at least one skill. Great skills to bring along are Surge of the Mists for the Revenant or the Dragon's Maw for the Guardian. But your own skills are not the only CC skills you can bring. If you head to Drizzlewood Coast, you can pick up a United Legion's way station. For just 25 war supplies, the currency of Drizzlewood Coast, you can purchase one of these way stations. While you are at the last champion, you can drop the United Legion's way station. At this way station, you and your allies can pick up an electro-magical pulse for a few war supplies. This gives you 5 charges of the electro pulse, which applies stun and thus CCs. This is significantly better than the Warden stun if you decide to rent these allies. Also, if possible, bring some reflect skills. For example, Wall of Reflection for the Guardian. There are ranged destroyers in this mission and they will launch a good amount of fireballs at your group. This can easily surprise you and it does a great amount of damage. You have to act fast because the cast time of these fireballs is short. You heard the term renting your allies quite a few times in this video already. Let's get into that a little bit. At the start, where you can activate your challenges, you can also rent some allies that will assist you in battle. Although I personally think that they aren't too strong, they could help you in various ways. You have the option between the Peacekeepers, the Seraph, the Wardens, the Crystal Bloom and the Norn. The Peacekeepers allow you to use a Golem at the second half of the mission. The Seraph and the Norn bring a number of allies to the table that fight NPCs with and for you. The Wardens bring Sylvari allies and allow you to use a Sylvan Hound which can stun enemies. This stun has a longer cooldown than the Electro Pools we discussed earlier. And last, the Crystal Bloom brings a huge crystal that protects you and your allies. This crystal will also allow you to get a limited buff that will heal your allies whenever you take damage. In my opinion, the Crystal Bloom is the best pick whenever you have the option. Your rented allies are fairly weak, so you might have to rest them a couple times after battle. In order to use the crystal effectively, you have to rest the Crystal Bloom allies after battle, since the crystal is tied to these NPCs. So you already know quite a lot about Dragon Response missions now, but we haven't talked about the preparation. Since the current Dragon Response missions only allow parties of 5, you have to be smart about what roles you bring. A good team setup will not necessarily make the Dragon Response missions easier, but it does make them faster. I would advise you to take a default fractal setup if possible. This includes a healing firebrand that can provide your allies with healing, quickness, stability and reflex. Any support you need can basically be found in the healing firebrand. The second role I would recommend is the Alacrity Renegade. As its name states, this will provide your team with alacrity. This will make sure that your cooldowns are reduced and you can cast your stronger skills in faster succession. The other 3 roles can just be DPS. For example, a power dragon hunter with traps, but any DPS will do. If you happen to be a warrior, bring your banner of strength and the banner of discipline. This will further increase the damage of your allies without decreasing your own. Also use consumables and utilities to further enhance your damage, healing and support abilities. The last thing I want to say is that rezzing your allies is extremely overrated. Yes, in countless videos I have said that rezzing your allies is extremely important. However, in Dragon Response missions it's much less important. Whenever you see an ally go down, hold off from rezzing them right away. There are usually a ton of enemies around that you can kill to get back up. So whenever you go down, make sure to hit as many enemies as possible. Chances are that the rest of your team will kill these enemies and you will get back on your feet. Of course, when your ally is close to dying, you can just res them. There is no point in letting them die. If you do happen to die in a Dragon Response mission, make sure to use a waypoint. Dead is not really dead in Dragon Response missions. The missions are not as punishing as raids or fractals. There are a number of waypoints in each Dragon Response mission. Using a waypoint is much faster and more efficient than letting your teammates res you. They are most likely in combat anyway, and this will significantly decrease their resurrecting speed. If you follow the tips I mentioned in this video, I'm sure you can speed up your DRMs. In the future, I expect to see more Dragon Response missions. I'm sure that all of this will be applicable to these Dragon Response missions as well. Oh, and don't forget to loot the chest at the end. This is usually not automatically looted, so you might miss on some rewards if you leave the instance too soon. Got a tip for the Dragon Response missions? Make sure to leave it in the comments, and if you want to support me, consider subscribing, liking and sharing this video, and you are always welcome to chat with me and the rest of the Kyosika cats in my own Discord. For now, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Peace!